Okay, morning everyone. We'll crack on. Obviously, we've given a couple of minutes for people to join. So, firstly, thanks for joining us today. A bit of sort of pre-webinar admin to get out of the way. Obviously, this session is being recorded just to make you aware. If at any point you have any questions or feel that actually reaching out to us and maybe getting an individual chat booked into the diary would be beneficial, then please reach out in the chat, and we'll be sure to take your details and reach out after the session. And there'll also be an opportunity to answer any of the questions that might crop up during the session at the end as well. So a quick intro from myself. I'm Luke. I'm one of the principal consultants in the data and AI practice at Transparity. For those that don't already know Transparity, we're one of the UK's most accredited Microsoft partners. So we're proud holders of all 6 Microsoft partner designations that are out there. And we've also recently renewed our Azure Expert MSP again as well, which puts us as one of the most accredited partners internationally as well. There's obviously not many partners out there that have got all 6 and the MSP. Today's session is obviously focused on Fabric, which sits firmly in the data and AI practice. But if you want to discuss any of our wider capabilities, such as infrastructure, modern work, biz apps, or app innovation, then yeah, please reach out, and we'll make sure that one of the guys gets in contact to discuss your requirements further. So today's session, as we said, obviously Fabric focused, but with a specific focus on how you get started with Fabric, and also some of the funding that Microsoft make available for you starting to explore the Fabric platform. So today it'll be a bit of a whistle-stop tour in terms of what is Fabric. There's still some misconceptions out there about what Fabric is, where it's being positioned, and actually some of the services that it offers. So we'll take a quick look at what's under the hood as well. We'll also talk about getting started. So if you was to engage with Transparity in the data and AI practice on a Fabric engagement, what would that look like? So what does a typical MVP, minimal viable product, look like when working with us, some of the use cases that we've seen, and also a little bit on how we position a metadata-driven framework within Fabric to deliver that solution. We'll also be looking at funding as well. So as I said, Microsoft offer up some funding pots again, because we've got our designations in the data and AI space. That opens up those funding pots to any of our customers as well, to obviously explore new technology like Fabric. And as I said, there'll be some time at the end as well for any questions that you might have. Okay, so moving on to the Fabric recap then. So Fabric obviously launched back end of last year and sort of became generally available to much fanfare, but I think it's worth sort of just recapping exactly what is Fabric. And really it's Microsoft's new sort of positioning in terms of that one-stop shop for all things data and analytics. So rather than having to go to different services, different technology platforms like SQL, for example, and Synapse, and maybe some analysis services in there to build up a full data platform. The idea of Fabric is that it's all in one place and sort of centrally located. So that one-stop shop sort of concept. It's built up of 3 sort of core components. The first one is the architecture, and really this is where it differs from the likes of Synapse, for example, which is very much a platform as a solution. This is firmly a software as a solution offering. So no need to worry about the compute or the underlying infrastructure that supports it. That's all done in the form of Fabric capacity, and it's obviously all accessible through the central sort of Fabric portal, which if anybody's accessed Power BI before, you will have probably noticed the rebrand into Fabric colors now as well. It's just leveraging that sort of central web-based platform where you access all of the experiences. So as I mentioned, Fabric is a collection of experiences that basically offer a wide range of data and analytics sort of services and workloads, and it's built very much on a modern data architecture. So it's leveraging the concepts and ideas around lake houses and Delta lakes as well. And the real thing that sort of differentiates Fabric away from other data platforms like Synapse, for example, is the concept of one lake. And that's really the bedrock of Fabric. That's the idea of every sort of BI and data project strives to have a single source of truth from a data point of view, and OneLake is really driving that sort of concept home. The idea that everything gets dumped into OneLake, and Microsoft had described it as the OneDrive for data. They want it to be sort of seamless, that anyone within the business could potentially connect and consume data into OneLake, and again built on the modern open source Delta Lake technology. So as I mentioned before, Fabric is a series of experiences, and some of you may have already come across some of these in sort of other technologies in terms of like Synapse, for example. Really, Fabric is an umbrella across a number of existing technologies already out there, like Data Factory, like some of the Synapse pipelines and analytics that are currently available there, and obviously Power BI as well, being its sort of main visualization point. And as with all Microsoft services, Copilot is firmly there as well. And we're seeing a number of new sort of Copilot preview features being baked into a number of the experiences within Fabric as well. So we've done a number of these Fabric webinars over the last few months, and we always sort of give a bit of an update from where Fabric was last time to where it is now. So the last one of these ran sort of February time, and shortly afterwards, Power BI Premium retirement was announced. So from January the 1st, 2025, you'll no longer be able to purchase any of the P SKUs, any of those premium capacity SKUs, like the P1s, for example, will no longer be available for purchase to new customers. There's a few scenarios around sort of EA customers where that timeline is extended, but as a general rule of thumb, that from the 1st of January, you won't be able to buy those premium SKUs anymore. And basically the F SKUs, which are the Fabric capacities, will take over. So some of you may have already heard of sort of the P1 node, which is the usual starting place for Power BI Premium. That is going to be replaced with the F64 capacity tier from the 1st of January onwards. So if you've got a renewal coming up between sort of now and the 1st of Jan, it's definitely worth looking at your approach to it, because the Fabric does carry a heavier cost. We're seeing a number of our customers sort of locking to retain that premium capacity, because obviously that removes the need for sort of Power BI Pro licenses underneath. So if you're in that boat where you're using premium at the moment to maybe alleviate you from some of those Power BI Pro licensing costs, then yeah, please feel free to reach out, and we can obviously discuss the options with you, because you can obviously lock in for another year now if Fabric's a step too far at the moment, for example. We're also seeing DP600 come out of beta as well, so that replaced the previous DP500 exam. So DP600 is the Fabric Analytics Engineer exam, which is fully out of beta now and can be taken by anyone. We're also seeing it starting to have a bit of a cadence like Power BI. So Power BI would have sort of monthly releases and monthly updates, and that's the same that we're seeing on the Fabric side of things as well. And as you can imagine, new emerging technology, the number of sort of features and connectivity options that are being released each month is staggering, really. So I think my advice would be, if you're looking into Fabric and it doesn't technically tick a box for you at the moment, then please keep up to date with the Fabric blog post, because it could be a month down the line and all of a sudden some connectivity or features or functions are there that give you that sort of missing capability that's not there at the moment. It's such an ever changing sort of landscape at the moment. So this is just really to visualize what we were just talking about there. So you've got the experiences along the top. So obviously the Synapse element, the Power BI element that then sits on that serverless compute. So really that emphasizing that software as a solution approach rather than maybe a platform as a solution that your data platform might be at the moment. And then as you can see, that OneLake being really the bedrock of the whole service. So the idea is all data flows into that OneLake sort of structure, where you've obviously then got the one security sitting on top, which then obviously makes sure that the right people can see the right data. And we imagine that these experiences are just going to extend over time. So as you can imagine, as more and more capabilities maybe around the AI and the ML space come online, that those experiences will sort of develop over time, and you'll just be able to access more and more moving forward. Um, so obviously that's Fabric in a nutshell. I appreciate a really whistle stop tour, but obviously we've only got half an hour today. So if there is a technical element that you'd like to explore in more detail, then yeah, please reach out. So obviously, yeah, how do you get started with Fabric? So the way that we approach a Fabric project is to really shape it as an MVP. So obviously trying to take a current data platform and transform that into Fabric all in one go would obviously be costly and also potentially full of sort of complications and problems. So we like to break it down into identifying sort of a typical use case, really. So what we often see is sort of that migration away from traditional workloads to the cloud. So could be SQL Server, could be other technologies in the background that you're using for your data workloads at the moment, and trying to transition them into the cloud. Or the transition of sort of some more traditional Power BI data flows, for example, maybe trying to move those over into Fabric to leverage some of the advantages that Fabric has over the Power BI data flows, for example. Or actually, it could be that you're just adopting a totally new data platform, and obviously Fabric is one of the front runners out there. And another one that we often see is that you're looking to explore sort of the AI capabilities, or solve a problem that maybe your current tooling can't solve. And obviously the MVP approach is great value, because you get almost a base drop of that solution in Fabric that you can then build upon in the future as well. So what does a typical MVP sort of consist of? So the very first phase is the workshop, and that's really where we work with you guys to work out what your use case is. Is there a particular workload? Is there a particular data source, whether it's marketing, HR, procurement, finance, for example? Is there sort of a key use case that stands out as being a prime candidate for an MVP, which are usually sort of 30 to 40 days in length? Again, if you'd like to run a workshop with us on how Fabric can work for you, then yeah, again, please reach out in the chat. Next step, Fabric setup. Due to it being a software as a solution sort of platform, obviously the setup is fairly simple, given that you don't need to worry about the compute or the infrastructure or any networking underneath. It's just sort of works out of the box. And then our metadata-driven framework that we use within Fabric, we'll come onto that more in some more detail later on. But yeah, we deploy the metadata framework. We then go on to look at notebook developments. That's really where we start to embed the business logic that we sort of garner from you guys in the workshop. So any transformations of data, any calculations, any business logic that we might need to add. We then develop a semantic model, so a model that's going to be served up to the likes of Power BI or end users, that obviously makes the data nice and simple for them to consume in a way that then answers their questions downstream. Power BI is obviously the chosen visualization tool, given that it sits as one of those experiences within Fabric. And then also any training and handover. So we're big believers at Transparity in sort of passing over the solution to the customer for you to run with and to support. And we've also got a wider support on minor mods agreement as well, so we can be on hand should, once that MVP goes into sort of production, we can be on hand for X amount of days to support you, and obviously any issues, any changes, we can help work through those with you. So we obviously mentioned the Fabric framework and it being metadata driven. Basically, all of our solutions, from SQL Server, Python, Synapse, all the way through to Fabric, are all metadata driven. And why do we take those metadata driven approaches? it's really easy to describe everything that needs to be ingested in metadata. So rather than having very custom solutions for each source, which soon becomes messy if you've got 10, 15, 100 sources to ingest, for example, a very dedicated bespoke solution for each one of those, it obviously quickly becomes a bit of a spider's web of pipelines and packages that needs to be understood, whereas the framework provides a consistent way of connecting to those common sources like SQL, like APIs, for example, like Salesforce, Facebook, Google, whatever it might be. It provides a consistent way of accessing and talking to that data, and that's all described through metadata. Again, it sort of lowers that barrier of entry for end users as well when they're trying to adopt the framework. So you don't have to be an expert in that particular API as long as you can understand the metadata it requires in order to ingest data from it. Also means that it's very quick for us to spin up and start and break ground on an MVP as well, because obviously we've got a rich history of connectors and connecting to various data sources that we can then leverage for potentially your MVP as well. So it's not like we're starting from scratch each time trying to ingest data from a common data source, for example. So as I mentioned, it provides that consistent approach to ingesting and transforming data, which is great from a support point of view from our side of things. It means we've got lots of resources across the team that understand how our frameworks operate. Also means that when we hand the solution back over to maybe an internal team that's going to be supporting it from your side, it means it's consistent and a consistent approach that they can then obviously get on board and help to understand and support moving forward as well. As I said, lowers that barrier to entry. It's not like they're having to learn a whole new language. It's metadata in a SQL database, which obviously lots of people have got those fundamental skills in. It's also really easily extendable as well. So as I said, as and when we connect to new data sources that come along, obviously that features and functions can be made available to yourself as well. And then also a potential upgrade path from our existing frameworks. As I said, we've got a SQL framework, a Synapse one, a Python one, which some of you may already be using. Obviously, a lot of those concepts and learnings have been built into the Fabric framework as well. So there's lots of commonalities between the two, which obviously makes that upgrade path much easier. So that's how we would get started. So an MVP, a small targeted MVP on a use case, typically 30 to 40 days long, obviously trying to either fix an existing issue or even demonstrate Fabric's capability in terms of potentially replacing your current data platform. And to make that obviously a little bit more palatable and sort of achievable internally, there's some Microsoft funding that we can apply for. So it's through the Azure Innovate Fund, and as I said earlier, because we've got those partner designations, it means we have access to those funding pots. So not every Microsoft partner will have access to those because they may not have the designation needed to gain access to it. Basically, we nominate a customer for funding. So we would nominate you for funding, and Microsoft would then assess the use case and how you're using the technologies to see if it's applicable or not. There's no limitations for how you're licensed either. So if you're on enterprise agreement, that's fine. If you're a CSP, etc., it's all accepted. There's no sort of dotted line where you have to be either side of it to be accepted for the funding or not. So just because we're talking about Fabric, that's not the only technology that the Azure Innovate funding sort of qualifies for. So there's also Synapse, there's Power BI Premium, which I imagine will disappear shortly given its retirement. I think Microsoft this month sort of renewing and looking at their funding pots. So we could see that Power BI Premium actually does drop out, but obviously Fabric and Synapse are there to stay. And also any AI app development as well. So any of the sort of open AI services being used in Azure also qualify for funding as well. There's a number of pots, and basically it's the size and scale of your project that sort of puts you in the particular pot. Obviously, because our Fabric MVPs are targeted and are certain days in length, and obviously focus on usually a data source or two at a time, that puts us in the very first sort of MVP pot, which is around the $10,000 funding. So we would put you forward to apply for that. If accepted, that would obviously be 10K off of that initial spend for that MVP that we'd potentially be conducting for you. And just because you've got funding at an MVP stage doesn't mean there's no funding then later as well. So if you was to then move to a wider deployment, maybe extending the technology, starting to really stretch its legs, ingesting more data, for example, there could be some more funding available as well for a phase 2, phase 3. For example, we have got a Azure Innovate one pager. So if anybody's interested in getting that, again, please drop a note in the chat and we'll send that around as well. So that really leads to the sort of the final question. Really, are you ready for Fabric? Hopefully today's session has given you a bit of an overview of what Fabric is, how we would approach an MVP, and obviously some of that really valuable funding that's out there at the moment as well from Microsoft. That, like I said, is a bit of a sweetener to obviously go and explore that Fabric technology, and we're seeing lots and lots of customers at the moment really taking benefit of that to help get that MVP off the ground, and obviously not be as costly as it would without the funding. So yeah, please feel free to reach out in the chat if you've got any further questions, or you'd like some individual chats on where does Fabric sit within your current data platform. Maybe you've not got one. Wherever it is, we can obviously have a bit of a discussion with you on how we could frame an MVP and move that forward for you. Really appreciate everyone's time today. Are there any questions at all? I'll just take a quick look at chat to see if we've had any come through. So Andrew asked, is Fabric going to phase out the Power BI Premium per user licensing? So in Microsoft's most recent announcements, where they announced the retirement of Power BI Premium, they specifically said that Power BI Premium per user won't be impacted, Andrew. So for now, that will still be a licensing that you can continue to purchase moving forward. And yeah, appreciate that the F64 cost is obviously, unless you reserve them, is obviously significantly more than a P1 at the moment. But there are some options around the F capacities as well, around reservations. So you can reserve up to 12 months at the moment, which then brings the costs more in line with what you would experience on the premium side of things. So yeah, premium per user to stay for now, Andrew.